Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Futurum Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Newman, Principal Analyst, Founding Partner at Futurum Research. Very excited for this interview series podcast. I've got Valerio Filauro with Qualcomm joining me. We're going to be talking about 5G, RF front end, and Qualcomm's business and how it's rapidly grown to lead that RF front end space for mobile. Before we jump in, before we talk any more about that, though, Valerio, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Thank you. Very well. Thank you. Hope you're doing well. Happy to be here again.
Yeah, it's great to have you. It's been a really great several months for Qualcomm in your space. It's been really exciting. I look forward to talking a little bit about how you guys have really ascended in your leadership in this RF front end space. But before I do that, for those that don't know you, do you mind just giving a quick introduction, talking a little bit about the work you do for Qualcomm?
Certainly. I'm Valerio Filauro. I'm Vice President of Product Management here in Qualcomm for our RF front-end business unit. So looking after this vast ecosystem of products, components, and system solution that we're going to talk about, I hope, for not just the mobile market, connectivity, Wi-Fi, and now a full plethora of adjacent markets that we're going after. I used to be more hair. I used to have more hair before. It's been more than a couple of intense months. It's been a nice ride, and I hope we continue.
Yeah, you laid a softball for me there because you still got a lot more hair than I do. Yes, it's been very intense. I actually just got back from your automotive investor day in New York, another big success for the company. This has been sort of a trend for Qualcomm, building in these areas that play very well adjacent to its core business in devices and licensing. And now we're starting to see a lot of success, multiple multi-billion-dollar businesses, and this RF front end has been a super fast-growing business. In fact, I believe you are now the number one RF front end solution in the 5G smartphone segment. So maybe just as a bit of background there, talk a little bit about that that adventure of getting from where you were to where you are, including the hair loss. Just kidding.
I'll address it later, but no, it's been a tremendous growth in the past years, and of course the company has made substantial investments in RF front end. We've executed by extending the portfolio, as you mentioned. RF front end is a really vast ecosystem. There are multiple functional products, applications, bands. So we spent a large number of effort and time in creating the portfolio and also enriching the technologies, right, that gets into this portfolio. So the results is that we've been able to deliver best-in-class component. I think the market is recognizing it. And again, best-in-class components, not necessarily just the actual physical components, so the acoustic, the filters, the power amplifier, the LNA, but really the ability, I think we've executed very well in the ability to integrate all of this together. Again, not just from a packaging perspective, how these components integrate with each other, but also with the rest of the system. And the results, again, I think the OEM and the market has recognized the better performance, small footprint, and I think customers have started realizing the unique view that we provide, right, by this system solution approach, which is the key, I think, for our success.
So you sort of set me up nicely for my next question. You've seen really great adoption. This has led to those strong double-digit percentage growth. It's led to this run rate of the business. But the ecosystem for our front end presented you a pretty sizable opportunity. Long and short, with 5G, the complexity of modem and RF became much larger, and it was a problem that you were uniquely positioned to solve. But talk a little bit about how that differentiation that Qualcomm has that's enabled it to so quickly become the leader in this space.
Yeah, I mean, one way to look at it is that, and as you mentioned, all this announcement is everything is wirelessly connected, right? So and it's just as mobile, it's connectivity, all the additional markets they're talking about. So, and of course, RF front end plays a very critical role in all of that. Without front end, RF front end, there's nothing that puts the data in the air and gets it from the air for process, right? So it's key. So it's a very large market opportunity, very large ecosystem. So there is a number of vendors, each with their strength on the specific subset of selected functionality, a selected application, a segment of the market. And the majority of the vendors, not all of them, I mean, really, well, they just sell components, right? So, and the phone manufacturer needs to pieces all the things together historically, right? And that's a pretty big effort. And as the technology evolves, connectivity specifically, you talk about 5G, but Wi-Fi 7, it becomes more and more demanding. So they need to optimize growth exponentially. And that's a major task that it's become very hard for an OEM to do that, right? It's you need a lot of IP, and that's where Qualcomm, right, offer the biggest value, in my opinion, to differentiate. That the OEM knows how to build the devices, and that should be just it. We know how to build technology, and we can pieces all these things together. So the tuning, the optimization that is required, that's where we're investing and spending a lot of effort and IP. And that's our opportunity. So to really offer a full solution, right? We like to call ourselves a solution house rather than a component vendor. We provide the full end-to-end rather than just components, and that's the key for us. And I think the benefit for the market coming from Qualcomm.
Yeah, I think you hit a lot of good points there, and I think the complexity is something I've noted extensively in various articles, podcasts, and in different research notes that I've published. And like I said, you pointed out really well the ability to develop technology that can be utilized. This is something that's really deeply entrenched in your organization's DNA. There's a reason that pretty much every mobile device on the planet is using at least a few, if not many, of Qualcomm's vast patent portfolio, is because you really do have that expertise building technology. But this has really gone one step further, enabling the company to build a new revenue stream, a diversification play outside of the handset business, which has been a big part of what Cristiano Amon has talked about from the minute he took the leadership role in the company. For instance, in the X70 now, the company has used the RF modem system now to implement more AI. So we were hearing AI at the edge. That's something, was it the connected intelligent edge is what Cristiano loves to talk about. But this AI is not only, doing things like image sensor, it's also doing things that are making the performance of the RF better. It's helping the performance in sub 6 gigahertz, which is the mid band better. Talk a little bit about how this is all coming together.
Yeah, I think one simple way of sometimes I look at it is this AI is really the effort is to make the air interface intelligent, right? Which is kind of like it's a different view that from what historically was done. The intelligent was in the process of now the air interface becomes intelligent. And then there are a lot of opportunities, as I said, to really make the consumer experience better through that intelligence, right, that the air interfaces acquire. A couple of examples is, and if you look at a phone, right, if you take your phone, you don't see them, but there is a large number of antennas, right? In some simple phones, 4, it can go up to 8. And those antennas, each of them have to satisfy very specific requirements in terms of bands, frequency, the actual construction of the device. And of course, somebody needs to hold the phone, right? So when the interaction between the device itself, the antenna, your body, your hand, and the air interface itself, the channel condition that changes depending on exactly what you do, what use case. So the intelligence that we've been able to build in our system, in one of the things that we announced is this adaptive antenna tuning, or our enhanced signal boost through artificial intelligence is really the ability to dynamically anticipate all these use cases, since we kind of have visibility of all this information that I'm studying, and really adapt the antenna tuner and therefore the antenna to each of these cases. So, and that of course translates into better performance. So we improve generation to generation, the ability, the accuracy, so to speak, improves of 30%, but that to the user, right, translates in respective of how you hold the phone and what bands you're using, the condition network, you get faster data speed, better coverage, and we always talk about longer battery life because that's critical. More use cases, you wanna do it more often with your phone between charges. And this is just one example. There's a lot more on the transmit side and receive sides PA, but in general, it is really their ability to dynamically change the way the RF front end operates. It sounds very easy, but there's a lot of complexity behind it, and to do it in a very seamless way. And in some cases, like the actual devices modifies its architecture, so to speak, right? Dynamically, depending on what's the traffic, how many users are close to you, and what is the condition of your channels. And again, it's all about performance, and the benefit to the operators is that they get better network coverage, more devices in the network. The better the benefit to the OEM is that the user are happy about their phone, and the user, of course, gets better experience, which is what we're striving to achieve.
Yeah, you bring some good points together, Valerio. People probably don't remember, but the way we hold the device. Historically, with older phones, it used to be the difference between being able to make a call and not make a call. We've seen a lot of progress made to make sure that, to your point, that the devices are able to maximize what the operators and carriers are providing in terms of signal to, because as we know in the 5G era, even in the LTE era, our dependence on the ability for an app to perform is so heavy on that data transmission. And little improvements, single-digit percentages, can be huge in terms of an app working as efficiently as we would want it to versus it not working. And we all know when we get into those gaps where you can't get good data, it's miserable. Yeah. Remember the? Can you hear me now? I mean, it's that's a real thing. It's less of a thing now because of what you're building that is enabling these signals, especially this, like you said, talk about the mid-band that have much bigger coverage areas to be able to give the performance that people require to run those apps. I want to pivot really quickly from just 5G though. Cristiano, I've heard him talk about with the X70 5G system, RF system. You've focused on Snapdragon Connect. It's something that you're really kind of leaning into this idea that there are several ways for connectivity to work, and all of them are imperative to the best user experience. So that could be 5G, that could be Wi-Fi, that could be Bluetooth. Talk a little bit about this Connect program. Why is this initiative so important to you at Qualcomm?
Yeah, because I think it pieces everything that we're talking about together, right? In other words, we talked about, all the cool stuff that we're doing from a technology perspective, building the best technology, the best products, smaller footprint, antenna tuners, artificial intelligence. But at the end of the day, really what matters is the experience. And how do you make that experience recognizable, right, by the market? So I think it's fair that as the old use cases are becoming more and more complex and demanding, different applications, we're not talking about just mobile, we're talking about computing, XR, IoT, automotive. Each of them has different requirements, and the experience changes depending on the application is. So I think Snapdragon Connect, the way I see it, is a way to really ensuring that both the OEM but also the consumer can recognize that experience that they should expect, and recognize the product that includes the component required to provide that experience. And again, so it provides a minimum set of requirements to deliver that experience, and our recommendation to the OEMs to follow the guidelines and deliver that experience to the consumers.
Yeah, I think that's been proven in a lot of different industries, Valerio, that creating standards, which is something you at Qualcomm know a little bit about, significant participation in various releases in 5G and 4 and 3. And so that's very much historic, but also just creating sort of system standards that people know and what to expect. It gives the OEMs and ODMs a certain level of expectation of how devices will perform with systems. And of course, it gives the networks a certain amount of confidence to know how well devices will perform. A lot of people don't realize how much testing and complexity goes into bringing up a network, right? We don't just, a phone has to be certified to actually, to run. There's a lot of work that goes on in the background for all these various devices that we utilize every day to know that they're going to perform on that network in a good way. Things like Connect have good marketing value, but they also technically have a lot of value too, because this is something you standardize, you put the effort in. You've also released some of the modules specifically for just Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Now, that of course is a little bit of a newer, it's an area that, people might look at as newer. It's not really new to you, but why are you leaning into that, those separately from, let's say, just your traditional mobile connectivity?
Yeah, I wouldn't use the word separately, but I don't know what I mean. It's more a natural expansion and extension.
Additionally, yeah, you got it.
Yeah. I mean, Wi-Fi undoubtedly is we all use a lot of Wi-Fi, especially in the past couple of years where we've been mostly indoor. But you mentioned about standards, right? The Wi-Fi standard is also evolved quite rapidly. Wi-Fi 6 since yesterday, then Wi-Fi 6E, Wi-Fi 7. So I mean, the way I see it is that these huge freeway are being built, which is the standards, but then you have to have the right components to really take advantage of the freeway, right? The standard just define how to do things, then you have to actually do it and deliver that experience. So one thing that we're trying to, as I said, extend our approach from mobile, from cellular to Wi-Fi in terms of RFFE is really, once again, looking at the full solution. So really building products for the need to deliver a certain level of performance when tied to the rest of the system for Wi-Fi 7, for instance. And that's the way the modules that were just announced were defined. As I said, the Wi-Fi standard has evolved drastically. A lot of new use cases, very demanding in terms of performance. And our product that we've announced are the one that can deliver, the better, higher power in terms of transmit power, and therefore, to your point, coverage, right? Higher data rates, and again, lower current consumption. We've also looked at, built in those announcements as part of our module and a full solution to address coexistence or concurrency between different technology, Wi-Fi and cellular. Now, all these technology, because of the use cases evolve, we need to operate concurrently. You're just not browsing the web. You're playing a Netflix 4K video while you are doing something else, and all these links operate concurrently. And there's a lot of bits that get exchanged over the air. So we are extending this solution level approach again to Wi-Fi, and I think you'll see more and more from us in really looking at way of taking advantage of the multiple technologies, right, and offer some more of a converged solution level approach that deliver more and more benefit, even more than what they're seeing today. And also we are extending that to the Asian market, right? It's not just in the phone; it's in every devices that you can think of using. A lot of opportunity and very interesting use cases coming from augmented realities, even automotive, right? It's become the most connected devices, right, that ever existed. So.
Yeah, you heard me talk about the quote unquote connected intelligent edge. That could be a vehicle, that could be a wearable, that could be a PC, another area that Qualcomm
Sure.
has delved into significantly, where this exact system is going to be a big part of the differentiation in the go-to-market strategy, right? Is when you have Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and 5G always connected on a PC, that PC with a Windows operating system becomes an extension of your mobile device where you're fluidly moving. I mean, that's a big deal. And that
Yeah.
system will a lot of the best qualities of the system on the mobile device will translate to the PC. And like you said, it'll translate to a wearable augmented reality headset. It'll translate to a vehicle for, cloud to vehicle or vehicle to vehicle communications. There's going to be best practices built in with what you're doing. So let me finish this pod this way, Valerio. Um, I have been fairly consistent on the record talking about the RF front end business as a success story for Qualcomm. The business, the growth, the scale. I think we can already chalk it up as a success. Very rarely do you enter a market and become a leader in such a short period of time, especially with so many very respectable companies that have been building for a long time. So, quick round of applause. Okay, I'll stop. That's over. What's next? What is the next thing for this business? What should the market be looking forward to that you can share?
Sure. I think, I mean, the opportunities are really a lot. In the mobile space, in the cellular space, 5G, I keep saying it basically just started, right? It will continue to evolve in a very long runway. I think we're predicting another 7-8 years, right, of before the next major step. And, there are multiple ways that 5G will evolve, both in terms of data rate, applications, looking at the full network, in general, providing better mobility, faster data rate. And again, you talked about the artificial intelligence, machine learning, application on both the network side of the device. That will continue. So that's one area that to look forward to in the next couple of years. Certainly more expansion from our side on the adjacent market. A lot of opportunity use cases, as I mentioned, for RFFE and the rest of the platform to get a more fine-tuned optimization together. Again, more above those solution level offering. And again, beyond cellular, beyond Wi-Fi, there are new technologies coming, the satellite communications. There are new bands coming, new frequencies. I can't count anymore how many gigahertz, how many high in the spectrum we're going. All of that is coming. And I think there's a lot of fun to have and a lot of good stuff that we're working on.
Well, Valerio, it is a lot of fun to know that the technology you're building are helping keep people more connected than ever, whether it's the way we work, the way we play, whether it's the content we consume or the people that we have a chance to speak to. Ubiquity is the word I keep looking at. And as we move from where we are to things like autonomous vehicles, we have drones, we have metaverse and omniverse, we have a future that's going to keep us more and more immersed. And I look to connectivity as the vehicle that makes us A, more connected, but B, it's a steward of our connectivity in humanity. And these are the things I want to see brought together. It's not just about being connected to the digital world, it's about immersing the digital world in our physical universe. Connectivity is going to be the key to making that happen. And the work you're doing is going to play a very big part. So Valerio, I want to thank you so much for joining me here on the pod. You've been a great guest. It's great to hear from you. And congratulations on all the success you've had.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And always happy to be here.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back because I'm sure there'll be more to report. Been an exciting year and I expect it to continue to be. So Valerio, thanks. For everyone out there, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Check out the show notes where you can read more about what Qualcomm is doing in the RF front end space. We've got plenty of pieces that we've written at Futurum. And of course, we'll link you over to some of the work Qualcomm is doing as well. So for this episode, though, it's time to say goodbye. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll have you back again soon. But for now, I got to go. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.